So another way that we could do this edit is we can go into Snapseed. So we'll click on add an image and we'll add the first one. This one looks pretty good. I also think that what we should do is fix this image up before we bring it in or before we bring the next image in. I think our highlights are pretty good. Midtones will open them up. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's go to Tune Image, Brightness. No, I think it's our shadows. Let's open up our shadows a bit. Let's fix our contrast ever so slightly. There, that looks much better. Now that we've done that, we're going to go to Tools and we're going to do Double Exposure. Click on the button to add an image, and here is our other image that we're going to add. Take the opacity to 100%, and we don't know exactly where that's going to go yet, so I'm just going to increase the size a little bit and click the button. There we go. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm going to go up to my diploma hat there, go View Edits, and on my double exposure, I'm going to mask that, just like this. Zoom in, and now we're just going to clean this up and do the best we can on that edge. You'll see that we'll have to go in, zoom in, and fix those little errors that we create. And the toughest part is in these corners. So just take your time. When you do these edits, you can always go back and fix them up a little bit more. But the difference between doing these edits in a program like Snapseed and doing a program like Photopea or Photoshop is you can get very precise masks in those bigger programs. Here, we're kind of fighting quality and convenience. Like, this is a free editing app. So just take our time, slowly work towards those edges. Once you get to the top, you can just sort of clean up the rest of the inside of that image, just like this. You can see that we're just cleaning up the bottom now. There's our dog, showing through pretty good. You can see a little bit of a problem here, so we'll just go across. Now look, I overextended, so I'm going to drop that down to 0 and just clean up the bottom of the frame. Do the same on the side here, the side of the frame. And again, we have to go to that word convenience on something like this because this is totally convenient. Here's our, oops, go back to 100%. So I turned on the eyeball so we can see our mask. That kind of helps clean up issues around our frame that we might have missed before. So I get a little bit closer. Let's go to the top over here, a little bit closer. Don't think we have to actually hit the edge on that one. Oh, but there's the spot we need to get. And we'll go to 0, and you can see across the bottom, we should just clean that up a little bit if we can. That's not too bad. Not too bad. And here we'll go back to 100%, and we'll just add in, and then I'll take this to 0. I find it easier sometimes to work upwards than downwards. There we go. So let me hit the checkbox, and there is our dog in the mirror. Now, the dog looks too big. So before we leave this space, let's hit the caret on double exposure, and you have 3 choices: delete, mask, or tune. We're going to tune this image by clicking that third icon, and we're going to shrink that down just a little bit. Now we have to find, does that fit? Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. We didn't damage the mirror, and that's sitting in there nicely. So we'll hit the arrow on the top left to go back to here. Let's go back to our details. Sharpen the image. Let's go to Tools. Let's tune the image. Let's increase the contrast a little more. And let's open up the shadows a little bit more. Now this will open it up for the whole image. The warmth, we can increase the warmth a little bit. That'll balance out that back wall. Ambiance, sure. Look at that. We get a little more detail. And I think that looks pretty good. The last thing I might do, just like in the image that we worked on with the Photopea image, is we can play with the black and white. So brightness, so let's just check this out. There's our brightness, contrast, let's see what that looks like. Contrast-wise, I think that looks pretty decent. And grain, we can add a little bit of grain to that. Sure, and because this is Snapseed, let's throw a frame on it because we can, and hit the checkbox. Now we will just export this out and we are done. So I hope that helped you guys out a lot.